Hello and welcome back to another episode of Cyber Voices, the official podcast of the Australian Information Security Association, otherwise known as AISA. I'm your host, as always, David Willett, and it is my pleasure to have you with us as we explore the diverse voices of the Australian cyber industry. Hello everyone and welcome back to Cyber Voices, coming to you from the final day of CyberCon Australia 2025. It's all over for another year almost. And I know if you're listening to this and you're at the event, I know we've all had a lot of fun over the last couple of days. I'm sure we're all going to go back to work on Monday with a refreshed perspective on what it means to be a cyber professional in Australia in 2025. And on that note, I've got an amazing cyber professional sitting in the booth with me for my final interview for the CyberCon series. And that is the fabulous Emily Woodhams, who is the Cybersecurity Engagement Manager at Melbourne University. Emily, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, David. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you. We've been talking about getting you on the show for a while and just happened to see you wandering around out there. And I'm like, I have a podcast booth here. Let's go
Why
have
not
a chat.
use it?
How have you found CyberCon over the last couple of days?
Oh, it's been amazing. This is my second time coming to CyberCon. So last year was my first. I've only been in the cyber industry about 18 months, to be honest. And last year, I was almost like a kid in a candy store. Where do I go first? This is also exciting. And this year, I feel like I understand the drill a bit better. And I've had a chance to go to some really interesting presentations that I wouldn't have picked at the top of the agenda. But one was around Sherlock Holmes being a social engineer. That really got my interest. Spying cars, are our smart cars looking at us and tracking us? I've just had such a great experience getting to know the rest of the professionals in this industry. So it's been a big 3 days, but really enjoyable.
Yeah, the first time at CyberCon is a special time. I've got a member of my team who's out there experiencing CyberCon for the first time, and every time I've seen him, he's just been like so alive. He's just like, oh, this is so cool. This is so amazing. Awesome. And yeah, you've mentioned some of the talks there that I was interested in as well. I did not hear about the Sherlock Holmes one though.
Oh, Elizabeth was amazing. Yep. She came complete with a prop, a magnifying glass, would you believe?
I'm here for it. I love a prop. I love an interactive and engaging session like that. And I don't mind a bit of Sherlock Holmes as well, actually. So that's very, very cool. So, Cybersecurity Engagement Manager at Melbourne University. Tell me, what does a Cybersecurity Engagement Manager do?
We go by many names. We are communicators, we're influencers. Human risk management is another title that can sometimes fall in this remit. My day job encompasses everything from comms, awareness and training, going and speaking at different, team meetings across the uni. I'm really the face and voice of cyber at the University of Melbourne. And that could be anything from like the real grassroots, talking to people over a cuppa about having a strong password versus going and speaking to the executives at their team meetings around high-level things to do with cyber risk and how we can do better. So I feel like it's a really broad title for what I do. And actually, everyone in my team does engage. I think as cyber professionals, that's a big part of what we do. And it's come through the conference as well, that culture and communication are actually core skills for all of us in this profession. So it's not just me engaging at the uni. I think that everyone has that role, but it's officially my job title, let's say.
It's a great role to have within an organization. I'm a little jealous I don't have a cybersecurity engagement manager myself, because I literally just was on a panel this morning talking about how important it is for constant, ongoing, human-based engagement and interaction around cybersecurity and awareness.
Yep.
Beyond the modules, beyond the phishing simulations, talking about how you kind of got to PR and market your cybersecurity teams a little bit to humanize them. So the fact that Melbourne Uni's got you dedicated in this role, I think, is really, really cool. How does one get into becoming a cybersecurity engagement manager? How did you find yourself in this job?
It was a bit of an accidental foray. And I think I've heard that said a few times the last few days, that people end up in this industry unintentionally at times. So my career started in communications. I worked for 10 years in not-for-profits doing like marketing communications type work. I then went into change management, and that was my first role at the uni about 7 years ago. And I was working in IT projects helping support IT changes. And I realized that those skills that I'd learned over the 15 years or so of explaining a technical concept to an end user that may not really understand the what and the why of this change, that's really applicable to cybersecurity. And so when the opportunity came up to join the cyber team, I thought this is something new and different I haven't tried before. And that was about 18 months ago. And I haven't looked back. It's just such an exciting industry. The topic still excites me. It's still something that drives me to get up in the morning and come to work because I know that there's a fresh challenge awaiting me. So it's a really interesting space to be in. And I think it's a good time for someone from a non-technical background to join cyber because I think our skills are really in demand. And that's something that's come through the last few days of the conference too, is that culture and people are still at the heart of what we're trying to achieve here. So I'm happy to be in the industry. I feel like it was an accident, but a very happy one.
It's funny you say that you have a comms background. I was just saying to someone only about an hour ago that marketing and comms are like the backstory of so many of not so many people who have been in cyber for a while like I have, but a lot of the people who have only been in cyber, say, for like the last maybe 3 to 5 years. There seems to be this big element of comms and marketing people who have found their way into it. So, I mean, I think that there is a good reason for that, and that is because cyber has really needed people who can tell a story.
Yeah, we have a bit of an image problem in cyber.
Yeah, which is a really interesting segue into the main topic that we were going to chat about, which is the work that you did at Melbourne Uni, which was a cyber branding refresh. Tell me a bit about that.
Oh, well, as I said, my background is in marketing and comms. And one thing that you learn very quickly is that your brand is that first impression that people get of you. So the university had a bit of a tweak to their colours and their branding and logo and what have you. And the old collateral that the team had, which was posters and that kind of thing, banners, they were all out of date. So it was time to do a bit of a refresh and get the new fresh colours out there. And we thought, well, rather than just focus at that lower level of put some new posters on the wall, let's have a think about how we want our team to be viewed at the university. How do we want people to think of us as a cyber team? And so my colleague and I put our heads together and we thought we want to demystify cybersecurity. We want to be approachable and friendly and not the team that sits up in the corner and tells people that they're doing the wrong thing all the time. We want to be the team that enables and that supports and is friendly. And so we thought we'll use animals to represent the behaviours we'd like to see. And I'll have to try and get you to all imagine this because it's hard in this audio medium, but we essentially picked beautiful imagery of Australian animals and used them as calls to action for particular behaviours. So one example was they had a beautiful image of an owl, and that owl has the tagline, "Who sent that email? Who?" So we're trying to get people to think about cyber in a way that's a little bit more playful, a little bit more relatable. We don't use images of, attackers in hoodies in basements. That's so early 2000s. We've moved beyond that now. We're trying to get people's attention and almost trick them into reading our material before they realize it's cyber related. So they see a beautiful poster or they see a really engaging website and they start digesting that information before they even realize it's cyber content. So that was the start. And then from those new posters, we've had a whole suite of new collateral. So an updated website, different Zoom and Teams backgrounds, email signatures, the whole kit and caboodle. And it's been really well received. I feel like the university has quite a good appetite for something that's a bit different and out of the box. We're not as traditional as some people probably like to think. And the feedback we've had has just been fantastic. Everyone's really excited about the fresh new look for cybersecurity.
Yeah, I love that. And the owl was a great example to choose for the audio medium, by the way. I'm sure your impersonation of one just then and the imagery that creates, I'm sure people can very much see what that looks like. So do you think then that traditional, let's say, call it cyber branding, the people in the hoodies and I do it myself. I have a cybersecurity blog that I publish at the university I work at.
Yep.
And I must admit, I have all the digital padlock images and stuff that I got off Canva. I'll admit it. Do you think that just has no impact on people? Is it too stale? What is it about the way that the image that we have for cyber for the the non-cyber muggles
Yep.
that
Yep.
that people just aren't
Yep.
resonating with?
Well, I still feel like I fit that category, right? Of someone who doesn't have that long-term experience in the tech sector. So I think it's recognizable still when we use those traditional images. I think it is recognizable, but does it cut through? Does it engage and excite and delight and surprise? Probably not. So it really depends on what you're trying to achieve with that image use, for instance. And if you're trying to capture people that are traditionally tuning out, then I think trying something different is really the way to go because it's a busy space. We call it a really crowded communication space in the university. And I'd say most organisations are the same. All the internal messages get a little bit blurred together. So if you can stand out from all the other internal comms, like the health and safety messages or the messages from finance or the other people that are trying to talk to the stakeholders internally, if you can stand out and be a bit more fun and a bit more memorable, then I think it doesn't really matter what you do as long as it's different.
Yeah. Universities, by their nature, do have a fairly crowded comm space. And as they do, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be communicated to a lot of people. And the same could probably be said for a government agency or anything like that as well.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you say that because I did find success myself into making sure that I was part of that comms strategy.
Yep.
So, hey, apart from just putting something up on the intranet that no one's going to see, how can I be in the newsletter, the staff newsletter, and that goes out quite frequently? Can I get a regular spot in there?
Yeah.
Did you have to seek a lot of help from marketing and comms to pull all this together, or was this all your own sort of inspiration and brainstorming with the team?
Oh, we definitely ran it past our marketing and branding people because we want to make sure that we are adhering to the university's guidelines. But I'm incredibly lucky that I'm a team of two. In fact, I've got another person at my work who does this same area as me in engagement, and he has a graphic design background. And so I have to give a shout out to George Casavides. He is amazing, and he did a lot of this work in-house for us. And it's a luxury that not every organisation would have, that in-house talent to create this. So I would say if you're a small to medium enterprise and you're looking to do this kind of work, there are lots of agencies out there that can support as well. And it doesn't have to cost a bomb. Or you can go your path, David, and use Canva. You can do a lot on a pretty lean budget.
I am a pro at Canva. I consider myself a graphic artist on that. And shout out to George. You did introduce me to George yesterday, actually.
Yeah,
he couldn't join us. He had the cyber escape room to do.
I think he's still in there. I don't know if he actually made it out.
Did he actually make it out? Oh, no.
No, he made it out safe and sound.
I don't blame him. I'd probably go do that instead anyway. And what has the support been like across the broader university for this branding strategy?
Amazing and almost unlimited, I would say, in terms of the support I've had from my CISO and his boss as well. It's been really heartening, actually, to hear the reaction. And we've also got a champions network at the uni, Cyber Champions, and they have been much, living up to their name and championing this new branding as well and sharing it with their teams. And the feedback has been phenomenal. Everyone is so engaged and so, appreciative of the effort that we've gone to make this accessible for them. So I feel like the university has really got my back when it comes to support for this work. And I've been given, I would say, quite a long leash in terms of freedom to explore these different strategies.
Fantastic. Yeah. You mentioned Cyber Champions there. This is going to be a little bit of a question without notice, right?
Yeah.
I'm interested to hear how you've made your Cyber Champions program work. I'm a cynic when it comes to Cyber Champions. I've seen Cyber Champions but I'm envious of those who've made it work, which is why I say I think maybe I haven't had like the resources or the pool, or I've tried to do it before and I haven't really quite achieved what I wanted to achieve.
Yep.
Or the people who have been my Cyber Champions have just said, yeah, cool, I'll do that, and then nothing ever happens again. What's been the key to getting your Cyber Champions out there to help extend this branding and to keep them engaged?
I could do another whole episode on Cyber Champions, and I'm happy to if you like, but I'll give you the short version. We are about 12 months in with our Cyber Champs program, and I agree with you. The hardest thing is getting it up off the ground and up and running. So we actually had a vendor partner with us to get that, bring it to life, really. But the reason it's been so successful is consistency. So we've had a monthly meeting, same time, each month for an hour online. And we've had really quite a good structure around those sessions in terms of educating the champs. For about 20 minutes of that hour is education. The rest of the time is almost free play. So we'll chat, we'll talk about other things we've seen in the news lately with cyber. We'll give them tips about how they can implement it in their team. And the people that are joining this network, they're all volunteering off their own bat. There's very few that have been voluntold by their boss to come along. Generally, they're interested because they've either had a personal brush with cyber, so in their personal life, they've been victim of a scam or know someone who has, or they've just seen it pop up in their day job and they think, oh, this is something a bit new and a bit different. I might like to learn more. They're generally not techies. In fact, most of them strongly do not identify with that label. They really feel like they are just an everyday person wanting to know more. But what I get in terms of feedback from them is that our group is like none other at the uni. It's quite organic and natural and friendly. Again, with that, making cyber accessible to the common people. And they also have a lot of fun. They really enjoy the natural conversation. We've done a lot of topics that are a bit out there. We did one on safe payment methods. We did one on IoT. So things they don't come across really. It wasn't just phishing, MFA, like the kind of more common topics. So we gave them info that they hadn't heard before, which was exciting to them. And then in terms of making it a success and knowing that it's been successful beyond the vibe check, we have measured their awareness and their impact on their colleagues, and we've seen measurable improvement in awareness for the champions, but really hearteningly for their teams. So when we look at baseline levels of awareness and behaviour, we see marked increase in reporting phishing emails, for instance, amongst a champion. And if you have a champion in your team, you also get that halo effect of improved behaviour as well. So the fact that we're having fun each month and chatting to these awesome people and having a good time is great, but I can actually hand on heart say that we've made a statistical difference to the posture of cyber culture at the uni because we've measured it. Yeah.
Well, thank you for the
I told you I could talk all day on it.
I was going to say thank you for the flyby version of that because it was without notice, everyone. So, but it just piqued my interest.
Yeah.
And hey, it's my podcast. And yeah, sorry, I totally lost my train of thought just then. Yeah, so I think I will totally think of getting you back sometime to maybe talk more about how to do a Cyber Champions program. I particularly liked the point around co-designing it with a vendor partner as well. That's been something that I've been really leaning into since getting into higher education is there's actually a lot of really good help out there with this kind of stuff. I think too many organizations try to do things in cyber alone.
Yeah.
And the too hard basket just grows and grows and grows and grows, and it becomes so overwhelming. But there's plenty of good help out there.
Absolutely.
What's been some of the best feedback you've received on your cyber branding? What's something that's really kind of stuck out for you?
The funny part for me is how in demand the merch is. So we've got a pretty good merch budget. It's not crazy. Not some of the stuff I've seen here, for instance. I don't have all the bells and whistles, but I've had some stickers made and I've had some pins made and just little things that people can use. And it feels kind of like, oh, it's nice. I'm getting a sticker from the cyber team. But actually, unbeknownst to that person, they're advertising for me. They're sticking it on their laptop. They're taking that laptop to meetings and everyone's saying, oh, what's the cute owl sticker? Or what's that cute little octopus sticker? People are having a conversation spurred on by these little stickers. So the stickers were funny because we actually designed them for students. We thought the students would like a cute sticker for their laptop and we gave those out at orientation week. And as soon as the staff started to spot them, we've had to reprint. They're really popular. So now I've got staff asking me for stickers. So that was surprising, that reaction. But just in general, I've really been, I guess I always thought this was going to be a successful campaign, but the actual response I've received has just surpassed my expectations. I really can't tell you how thrilled everyone has been with the new designs, with the animals. They're just really eye-catching and aesthetically beautiful to look at as well, which you can't often say for cybersecurity that it's pretty. But I think I've managed to make it so. I hope so anyway.
Yeah, I'll have to see some of it. But you're right. As stickers and pins in particular, people go nuts for them. I go nuts. I've got so many pins in particular.
Yeah.
I'm a big nerd. I was here for the PAX convention that was happening here just a few days ago as well.
Yeah.
And oh my God, I went mad for the pins. So I could very much see that working.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's all really, really cool. And I think probably the last thing I'd like to cover off with you in the time we've got left is, you've been here at CyberCon for a few days now. We've talked about cyber branding in the Melbourne University context. How do you think cyber as an industry in Australia is going in general with its branding and its image?
That is a really good question to finish on. Caveat that I consider myself still new to the industry, so I'm coming at it with relatively fresh eyes. I think that cyber still has a long way to go, frankly, in terms of its branding. The idea of the stick versus the carrot comes up a fair bit. Do we want to tell people off for the bad behaviors and scare them, that really hardcore kind of messaging? Do we want to reward the good behaviors and come across as everyone's friend? I don't think it's one or the other. There is a place for both. But I think in general, cyber still is too isolated from the community. It's an us and them kind of mentality often. I think that there needs to be more empathy in the industry. We need to empathize more with our end users. And maybe we should call them people, not end users, on that note.
Yeah. But with the whole people are your weakest link kind of.
Don't you dare say that to me. I mean, I know you're saying it tongue in cheek, but it grinds my gears. I can't stand it. Because they are the purpose, right? We are doing this job to keep them safe, to keep each other safe, ourselves safe, to have a blame game and saying, human beings are the weakest link. They keep clicking on things. It's so unproductive. It doesn't improve our security. It just creates the divide between us and them. So I think there is a bit of an image problem in cyber. I think we need to lead with empathy and be curious about people's reasons. What happened? Why did this incident unfold? Why did you click that link? Explain it to me. I don't think that we're going to ever really be able to be successful until we have a more open dialogue. And that's, I think, again, a big part of what I'm trying to do is rebrand cybersecurity, not just from a poster on the wall perspective, but something a bit more broad. I feel like this week particularly, and because we're in Cyber Awareness Month, I've been having this conversation over and over around culture and communication and connection and all of those human factors that you mentioned. I think it was Tara this morning in your panel that I was sitting in the back row and said that poster on the wall is not going to change people's hearts and minds. A conversation is much more likely to change culture than a poster. And as lovely as my posters are, I do agree with her. I really do. Because that's where the magic happens, is when you're talking human to human. So that's what I would suggest, is that cyber, it does still have a way to go. But I think the more comms people we get into the fold, probably the closer we'll be to achieving that.
Yeah. When you get a genuinely curious question from someone around what you do, or not so much around what you do, but around hey, how can I keep myself safer?
Yeah.
Right. That's real magic right there, because that's when you actually have a chance to educate. I even had a slight anecdote and tangent myself. I have a new personal trainer. And even he, when he found out what I was doing for work, was asking me questions about he's a sole trader, small business, all that kind of stuff. Like, hey, how I need to pick your brain on this stuff, because I want to make sure that I'm protecting my business and my clients, more importantly.
It affects us all. There's not a single person that you would meet at a barbecue on the weekend. If you said, I work in cyber, they wouldn't have a question for you, right? It's something that is on everybody's mind every day. I did a presentation last week and I wanted to get some recent cyber in the news clippings to pop in my presentation. Nothing was more than a week old. I had enough fodder from my internet searches of recent cyber events that nothing had to be more than a week old. That's how, much this is in the zeitgeist now. It's so, I guess, in people's minds, top of minds. It makes our job good, easier in that sense that people see the relevance, but it does really give you a bit of pause for thought of, wow, this is a big job I've got ahead of me.
Yeah. I get I'll get questions, but if I say I'm at a barbecue and I say, oh yeah, I work in cybersecurity, first I get and the nod of the head. Very important work. Thank you. Yes, it is.
Yes. My superhero cape is just tucked under my shirt.
I know. I think my parents for the longest time thought I was a spy. They really don't understand it. God bless them. Final question to take this out. So anyone listening today who is thinking about how they can brand cyber better in their organization, what's the Where do they start? What's the first parting bit of advice you'd like to give them?
Go and get your biggest detractor, the person that is resistant all the time to patching or to making any changes. Go and find that person, buy them a coffee and pick their brains. Because if you manage to convince someone who thinks cyber is rubbish that cyber matters, that is going to be the golden ticket to success. If you start to understand your people, you understand what their barriers are, what their pain points are, then you can start to lead with empathy and you can start to actually make those incremental changes you need to win the hearts and minds. So as scary as it sounds, go and find your biggest critic and buy them a coffee. That would be my piece of advice.
That's fantastic advice. I really, really love that. Well, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us. I'm sure there's much more we could learn from you, but everyone, if you're listening to this today, I think Emily's just given some fantastic resources and inspiration for how you can change your cyber brand. Emily, I will let you get out and enjoy what little is left of CyberCon 2025, and thank you so much for sharing your voice with us today.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Cyber Voices. Our music is by Sanar Garut, our show artwork is by Studio Quarantine, and we record our show at This Is a Studio in Pran, Melbourne, part of Popplant Productions. Please make sure you follow the show on your podcast platform of choice and leave us a 5-star review. This will help others find the show. Also, please follow the association on LinkedIn and Instagram. If you want to add your voice to our ever-growing chorus of diverse cyber voices, have questions, feedback, or would like to be a sponsor, you can do so by emailing us at cybervoices@aisa.org.au. That's cybervoices@aisa.org.au. Are you an AISA member? If not, you should consider joining our network of over 12,000 members across Australia. An AISA membership can open doors, build professional networks, create lifetime friendships, and offer exclusive training, events, and other perks. Become a member today by heading to our website at aisa.org.au. That is all for today. I hope you will join us again next time on Cyber Voices.